Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast, a program created to answer the question, what's in it for me, for both the business and their customers. Today's guest had this to say.
I literally tell DPW members, if you're all in, I'm all in, and you got one job, and that's to outwork me, and I don't even have equity in your business, but you got to outwork me. But what the funny thing about it is I tell them that they have access to me 24 hours, and I'm not playing about that.
Now, stay tuned as we hear more on their values, mission, and why they continue to grow their business. So joining me on the show today is Irum Jones with Dallas Professional Women. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So glad to have you here. So I want to know everything about Dallas Professional Women. Let's start with who you serve.
Absolutely. So in the name, it says Dallas Professional Women, but I will tell you something. We service women professionals as well as companies that service women professionals. So we do have men that are part of the organization as well. And what I love about it is we service the nonprofit sector as well as the for-profit, and we help provide just anyone that requires guidance in their business from like startup ideation all the way up to like phase or stage 3 or 4 in their business where they're ready to take it to franchising. So we provide a variety of services for those that really need some support.
Excellent, because we all need support.
Absolutely.
Wherever we are in our journey business-wise.
Absolutely.
So how did you start?
Well, I've been in the construction industry for about 25 years. My husband and I started Electrician on Call, which is our flagship business.
Nice.
And we started it in college, and that was before Google existed. There was this thing called Ask Jeeves. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I do.
Ask Jeeves did not know anything. That was the Google of our time.
Completely useless.
So anyway, so here we are. Not every business had a website. You didn't even know where to go and get resources. So imagine 2 full-time college kids. Okay.
I remember
and
not knowing anything.
Yeah. And my husband's he just came back from the Navy, and he was an electrician, and we were doing a telecommunications program. So it was very techy. And actually the technology that we're able to see now, the video conferencing was technology we were actually studying and developing 25 years ago. So it's really cool for all of it to come around. So here we are, 2 college kids, and we're thinking that the best thing that we can do is solve the problem where we didn't like the way homeowners were misguided on electrical hazards and safeties. We wanted to make sure that they understood that they should live in dignity where they're comfortable as Americans living in their home. And there was so much misinformation out there. So as he was fixing electrical hazards as his full-time business role, working for another electrical contractor and being in school full time, I was doing the same thing. I was in telecommunications, routing the phone calls for those that are geeking out over that, and going to school full time. So in the evening, I was helping to run the business, and I had no experience whatsoever. So I spent thousands of dollars trying to find the right professional, the right mentor, the right guidance. And we just didn't have resources just at our fingertips back then. There was no awareness of it. And so I came to this crossroad where I was thinking, do I have to give up my full-time job and then my goal as trying to complete college while trying to ramp up the business? Why can't I do all 3? And so I kind of put that as a bookmark in my life where I didn't want anyone else to have to pick between their lifestyles.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so here we are 25 years later. About 5 years ago, I stepped away from the business. I handed over the keys as the chief operating officer. I automated, delegated, did all of the right things I needed to do from a process standpoint. And I said, you know what? I want to go back and help small businesses really thrive, because all of the different toolkits, vetted, field-tested things that I've done in our business, I want to go ahead and make sure other people know of it so they can live out what their dreams are. But also, we get into business because we want to solve a problem. So what's the problem they want to solve? And I want to help them do that in a much larger scale. So that's how Dallas Professional Women, or DPW, was just kind of born out of necessity.
Yes, as most things are.
Yeah. So that's what we do. I get to serve as a chief. I call it empowerment officer. Everyone's like,
It's a
"No,
good
you're
one.
the chief. You're the CEO." I'm like, "No, no, no. My job is to make sure no one quits because I know how it was in those earlier years. And actually, it doesn't matter how long you are in business. There's just times that where you're just like, oh my God, is this really worth the stress and everything that comes with it? So that's what we do. We make it a community where it's okay to ask questions. We're inviting, inclusive. We break things down to a very simplified way. Just the way that I wish someone would have broken things down for me is how we coach back in DPW. So
Excellent.
that's what we do in a nutshell.
Yeah, well, I looked on your website, and you offer a lot of programs,
Mhm.
events, almost constantly.
Yeah.
Talk to me in general terms, because I mean, someone may be listening to this 6 months from now.
Yeah,
So talk to me about
absolutely.
the different events that you hold, how
Yeah.
and where you hold them.
Yeah,
Let's talk topics and so
absolutely.
on.
So first, we hold our events at Caddo. We
Yes.
absolutely love Caddo because of the amenities and just the space. And it's easy for any of our DPW members to get to any of our locations. I've been to at least 6 of our locations
Yeah.
already, and it's incredible. They all have their own flavor, their own appeal, just like their own personality, and I love that. A lot of times our speakers come in from different states because they're just like, oh my God, I want to empower, this group of small businesses. And because DPW also gives back to local nonprofits, that's a
Terrific.
must. That
Yeah.
is a must. So if you're a small business and it is something important to you to support other local nonprofits or causes, we connect you with those nonprofits as well. And if you're coming in as a business owner that has their own nonprofit, we want to double support you and get you to the top of the thing. So what I love is with Cattle Locations, we meet over here quarterly, and we have this thing called the Marketing Mixer Lab, which is a really cool thing. Now, listen, we don't serve martinis, okay? But what we do is we serve up a whole bunch of nuggets. I mean, you're jam-packed, locked in with about 15 to 30 people. So we have small group sessions.
Great.
And that way it allows everyone to get that area focus. It's not a cattle call. And so we want to make sure that everyone gets the time, attention that they need. And over time, there's some beautiful sponsorships, partnerships, collaborations that happen between people.
Yeah.
And Caddo makes that possible because we're just like, hey, we're going to be at this Caddo location. So between the Frisco and the 2 Plano locations, that's where we ping pong a lot.
Yeah.
But we also have roundtable sessions like in the Dallas area. We absolutely love closer to Mockingbird area. And it's just a fun place to get together, whiteboard some things out, whether it's a larger conference room area or it's a 4-seater and that's all we needed.
Sure.
It gives us the flexibility to do that. And that's what I believe like more professional women need is the flexibility in our lives to
Amen
go
to
to
that.
different spaces.
Yeah.
So that's, I mentioned 2 of them, but the third one is really fun. It's called the Business Boost Mastermind. And I know nowadays everything's a mastermind.
Right.
Everything's a business boost, right?
Sure.
But here's the fun part about it. I get to travel around the United States and teach the curriculum and get feedback of the very tactical things that other businesses and other industries use. And by the time it gets back to DPW, it's already vetted. I already have the statistic to say, you know what, buddy, you may have to do your newsletter 5 times in order for this specific goal to happen. And it's 99% likely because here's the data to prove it out. So I love to do things like that. And the Business Boost, which occurs on the first Friday of the month, allows business owners or new marketing teams to come in and really understand true, tried, vetted, and tested practices all the way up to fixed operations, which operations is not a sexy thing at all, right?
It's
That's
not.
that's the
but
day-to-day.
it's critical.
It's critical.
It's critical to run a business. You have to be
so
on
we
top of your
talk about
operation.
all of that from goal setting all the way to how do you take the ideas in your head, brain dump them, time management tactics, just all of those different things that as a business owner we need to juggle but also delegate. And then we bring in awesome automation tools that, again, there's nothing that DPW exposes people to unless if it has been true, tried, vetted, and tested. And I joke around, I'm like, is it field tested though, right? Is it something that you just decided to put in? But the thing that's the most incredible about the events that we do is DPW members earn these things called DPW diamonds. I know, I like to gamify things. I mean, why play games when we're only little kids, right? I
Right.
mean, why can we not enjoy it now? So with DPW diamonds, the more you participate, the more diamonds you get, and you earn swag and you earn VIP points to go to different events and different exposures. So it's just a fun thing where I was just like, gosh, I wish I was able to go through it as a participant, but I get to lead it. So now that kind of makes sense of why they call me the Chief Empowerment Officer, because
Yes,
I'm
it
like,
does.
get off your butt. We can do this together. So again, Cato provides that space to make that happen.
That's wonderful. Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this. The Growing Your Business podcast is sponsored in part by Visual Learning Solutions. Stands out with its expertise in crafting immersive audio and video experiences. Their creative team has over 30 years of experience delivering dynamic internal training programs tailored to various industries. They ensure the audience receives a compelling message, promotes brand awareness, and increases return on investment. They also excel in producing marketing content. Learn more at their website, visuallearningsolutions.com. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles. You're looking for people to join because
Yeah.
it benefits them.
Absolutely.
Who's your ideal new member, I guess you could
Yeah,
say?
yeah. Well, if they're starting out with, I'll tell you who we're currently attracting.
There you go.
I'll start
I like
there.
that.
Okay. We're seeing massive, talented people in the education and also in the medical field, kind of switching gears right now, being burned out. And they're so incredibly talented and patient and just all of the things that an entrepreneur that kind of just slipped into entrepreneurship wishes that they would have had. So, for example, if you're listening in and you're a teacher and you're just like, oh, I can write a process in my sleep, girl, we need you. Like, that's part of business. You have to learn how to delegate things out. And if you don't communicate them, no one knows what to do. We're not all psychic, right? So that's one thing. I'm also noticing in the medical industry, I mean, you have surgeons, you have people that have just dedicated their life to their craft, and that's the only thing that they know, but now they have an awareness for another way or a better way of teaching. I'm seeing a lot of people get into teaching, training, mentoring, and in that is a business of its own. So they know how to do the stuff, but they don't know how to run the business. And so with DPW, if you're kind of feeling lost in that, or how do I even start up? How do I track people? What's the first thing that I need to do? Get a website or go to the Secretary of State? Like, we'll help guide you in all of those spaces. So, we don't have an age limit. That's another thing. We welcome students. Our youngest member is like 13 years old and is an author.
Yeah.
And that was because she received exposure with other authors, and they made it simple enough and straightforward enough where she was like, I think I can do it. And all we have to do is connect the dots and get it going.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of our members mobilize very quickly. So if you're someone where you're just thinking you have this amazing talent, no matter if your talent is something tangible or practical, perhaps you go through, sitting into one of our sessions and we can help you with the ideation. The cool thing is our members find a one-stop shop with DPW. We create a business directory of vetted companies within our ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine this, Buddy. Imagine you became a DPW member and you're going to these marketing mixer labs and we're sharing the top trending things that are happening in social media in the next 30 days. Then we have a round table where you also get to throw out a nugget based off of your experience for everyone else, right? So we're all sharing, and it's a small group session, and then we have accountability virtual pieces where we'll call it out and we'll say, all right, buddy, you said you were going to get out those 5 newsletters. how's it going? So we're not shaming you. We're actually amplifying and supporting you every step of the way. And then, by the way, everyone in the room is like, okay, buddy, we're going to subscribe too. So it helps everyone out.
Yeah,
We're learning. You're getting the exposure. It is a beautiful ecosystem. And then at the end of the month, DPW members get to vote on a local nonprofit that we can support. And sometimes the support is nominal, and other times it's a nice big check. So it feels so good to be a part of a community where we know that our time and our talents are being spent to make the world a better place. And we're also able to make a living through that as well. And if we're growing too fast, then DPW has mentorship in-house where we help guide you through custom consultations as well as in-house marketing and just helping you grab the tools that you can. We have blogging services as well. So sometimes, people go, I just don't have the right exposure. And that's where we go, okay, well, here's your blueprint.
Right.
Get on a podcast, right, like this, learn about it, and just don't have an experience and then lock it up in the closet, right? You got to talk about the things that you're doing.
Yep.
And so DPW creates those small group sessions where we go, okay, what's getting in the way? Why aren't you talking about the light that you bring in the world? Where's the support that you need? Let's go help you find that support. And we always make connections through that. So DPW is really designed, I'm going to say, for the introvert, because honestly, I'm an introvert in those motions. And sometimes large crowds, I'm not going to say they scare me, but I don't get enough of that connection, right? I'm someone who likes to go in deep. And I've seen after the pandemic, more people are looking for those deeper connections. And so that's really where our sweet spot is right now.
That's terrific. So you have events once a month and so on for someone who's interested in joining. Obviously your website, what's the best way to reach you and get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go on the website, which is DallasProfessionalWomen.com. We also have a Facebook group, which has over, I think we're reaching 4,000 members now. The cool thing about what we do is that we have a community manager, unlike other groups where she circles back around to all members. She has one job: to make sure that you don't quit.
Wow.
And we're obsessive about that.
Accountability partner.
Accountability,
built into it.
Absolutely. So she does that. I do that. We have a very caring team. We have the most amazing advisory council set of members out there, which are women that are just dedicated to their specific industry, and they're so badass about what they do.
Nice.
I gotta say,
Truth is truth.
But they're also kind and they're approachable and they share, and that's what I love about DPW. Really starts at the top. And then when you kind of come into this community, it's almost like a try before you buy kind of situation.
Sure,
because you see us, you see our events, you understand that everything that we do, there's nothing that's around alcohol. It's just, we're breaking it down to business, and we want everyone to walk away with something tactical, practical, and strategic. And I always tell every DPW member that when I have an interaction with you and I don't give you those 3 pieces, I didn't do my job. Call me out on that. So really big on accountability and being very intentional about taking up the time of an entrepreneur.
Excellent. And so I imagine you've had members come and go and you see them succeed. Give me an example of one.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll tell you, we have expanded now to the East Coast as well as the West Coast.
How about that?
DPW members, sometimes they leave to go to other,
Sure,
states, and they're getting deployed
they
different
blossom
places.
and fly away and do their
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
And then they call us and they go, we don't have a DPW down here. We don't have a DPW. What can we do to create? And I'm like, but it's Dallas. And they're like, I don't care. Change the name to Dynamic because I still want to be a part of Dallas. And most businesses nowadays, it doesn't matter where you are at all. We can still support. Yeah. Absolutely. So we've expanded to coast to coast. Yep. So literally we're national at this point. And it's so fun because our members are all in. Our members get to earn grants as well. So remember that marketing mixer lab that happens third Fridays. And then we got the business boost happens first Fridays. If you attend those, at the end of the year, you get a survey that says, show us what you've learned. What were the key takeaways? And if you won $500 to $15,000 worth of resources, as well as guaranteed, job offers or guaranteed invoices of what needs to be done, what would you do with it? What's the change that you're looking for?
That's a great question.
And guess what? That comes out of our pocket, because DPW is a business where we are not a nonprofit, but we believe so much as angel investors and incubators that we want to support someone. So if you're showing up every single day, every single time, accountability, your business is going to flourish. Your brand is going to expand, and you're going to get over a lot of those hurdles. And so there's a few that I can think of immediately, for example, Maria Taylor. She was the grant winner several years ago, and she's landed over $60,000 worth of jobs just through the exposure, because we know she was able to fulfill those requests. We've also had people that came very close to it, where they're skincare scientists and they care so much about it. We've had nonprofit leaders come in where they've made a substantial change, and they've been able to really pick up their voice and talk about, intimate details of what has led them to make the change. And sometimes those stories are not easy to get out. And so they get to sit with us, simmer with us, cry with us, position themselves the right way, where they feel confident to get the point across of why that cause is so important. Right. And DPW gets to be a part of all of that.
How wonderful.
I know.
Yeah, how fulfilling that is.
It absolutely is.
To see the change. And that's the one thing is like the introverts. And what's funny is you and I are sitting here and we both look like and talk like extroverts. I'm an introvert too. Like the end of the day of being in front, the same, when you work a large room, it's very intimidating. And when you don't have the processes in place, very intimidating. So you retreat a little bit. But with a group like yours, you have the same stories of I was like you. Or someone else in the room is just like you, but now you have a group that's empowering you, that's answering the questions that you have right now. They've already solved it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm thinking about one. Her name is Dr. Ronnie. And when I first met her, I want to say she was like this beautiful, just so soft-spoken, and she was trying very hard to talk about her product and her services, and she left an incredible, position at her role to carry out something that was so important to her, which was clean skincare, and she invested everything in it. And when she first came in, she was like this shy little mouse, and I will tell you now, she is like a roaring lion. Nice. Okay, yeah. And she is just, if there's any opportunity to talk about skincare, talk about a specific product, or she can jump on the mic within 2 minutes, deliver something. And every time I see her on social media, I send her a note. I'm like, I am so proud of you. Yeah. But also she put in the work.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't keep learning.
So important.
And not put in the work. So that's why we felt like accountability was that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. What is the best way to contact you to get involved?
Visit DallasProfessionalWomen.com or info@DallasProfessionalWomen.com. And again, you can reach out to myself. I still handpick. I still go through everything. I literally tell DPW members, if you're all in, I'm all in. And you got one job, and that's to outwork me. And I don't even have equity in your business, but you got to outwork me. But what the funny thing about it is I tell them that they have access to me 24 hours. And I'm not playing about that, because I wish I would have had access to that. And sometimes our best nuggets or our best, whatever thoughts come when we're late at night. And I get a lot of those calls, and that's okay, because I like to walk people through it. So that's a little bit. So if you have follow me on LinkedIn or Facebook, mention that you heard it on here. Let's connect and tell me a little bit about your business and the light that you bring in the world. And that's really what I'm looking at. What is the light that you're bringing in the world? What's the problem you're trying to solve?
And let's do it together as a group.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Well, I really enjoy this conversation and you coming on and sharing so much energy, and joy in what you do. I really appreciate you bringing that to us.
You got it. You got it. Thanks so much for having me, Buddy.
Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.